Isaiah 29 and verse 6 says, Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. Yes, Shalom Akim. Alright, back at you with another lesson through the Spirit. And I wanted to just go in some of these updates on what they're calling Hurricane Ian right now. As on the map here, you're looking at some of the states over there in South America. Right now, that blue bit there, that's Florida, and that's where it is right now. And there's a lot of we're gonna get into some of the videos, the news updates, the clips, and the death toll, the aftermath of the Florida. But the point is, I was listening to one of the brothers over there in South Carolina narrate teacher CFC, I think it is C7, talking about Hurricane Ian and the place where it is right now. And he mentioned South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, and all these states, some of the most racist states in America. And it just clicked. I said, boy, that's where the Most High is doing his thing. That's where the hurricane is, Hurricane Ian. And we might, I don't know the name, I ain't looked into the meaning of the name right now, but it sounds kind of effeminate. But at the same time, E doesn't make names and give names to things. There's usually a meaning and a reason behind him. But also Mississippi, all these places where Jake is known to be terrorized, the before slavery, mid slavery, after slavery, where they used to lynch us in these well-known infamous racist places: South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Kansas, Missouri, Alabama, Texas. Well-known places where we were tortured, man. Literally, we were tortured. The crocodile bait, the lynching, the castrating, all these places. So the Most High right now is tearing up Florida. Yeah, good for them. Back to the precept, Isaiah 29 and 6 says, Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder. And that's where he's visiting right now. I mean, yes, man, there's a death toll still rising. And also you got the crocodiles, which they used to feed us crocodiles, the crocodile bait. Now the crocodiles are looking for them. They're going to be crocodile bait. Because right now, over there in the marshes, the aftermath, the floods, crocodiles are roaming through, man, looking for any carcasses, half dead, or even alive, to devour. Yeah, whatsoever a man soweth, that he should also reap. The crocodile bait you used to feed us to, you're going to be crocodile bait. Beautiful. All praises to Yahweh Shai. The Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm, tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. That's the hurricane. The hurricane, the fire nados. The Most High hasn't started yet. Still warming up. Let's jump up to 5. It says, Moreover, the multitude of thy strangers shall be like small dust, and the multitude of terrible ones shall be as chaff that passeth away. Yea, it shall be at an instant suddenly. Yeah, Hurricane Ian is very sudden. There was another one which was what was it called? Hurricane Fiona. Another stupid name. I don't know what happened to that. Then they changed it to Hurricane Ian, which Fiona was hitting Puerto Rico and a lot of the islands as well. I think it hit Canada, Dominican Republic, some of the other islands. I don't know what happened to that, but let's catch up on some of these news updates. Yeah, which I haven't done a video on judgment for quite a while, so we're gonna get in and catch up with some of these news updates and see what's been happening on this Hurricane Ian, so-called.
Well, President Biden declared a major disaster in Florida as the storm continues to tear its way through the state. Millions are without power, streets and buildings are completely flooded, and emergency crews are unable to reach people who may be trapped in their homes. Ian is continuing to barrel its way across Florida, leaving behind a path of destruction. It left cities along the Gulf Coast under several feet of water. It even tore the roof off an ICU, forcing hospital workers to evacuate their sickest patients. Ian is now a tropical storm, but the National Hurricane Center says that it is still on a path to bring severe flooding, strong winds, and heavy rains to parts of Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to Studio 57 here in New York. I'm Anne Marie Green.
I'm Vladimir Duthier. Before weakening to a tropical storm, Ian plowed into Florida's Gulf Coast with catastrophic force. It flooded communities and left more than 2 million in the dark. The storm is still expected to produce strong winds and heavy rain as it moves slowly across the state. CBS News correspondent Chris Van Cleve is in Tampa, Florida, and joins us now. Chris, Tropical Storm Ian has moved past where you are for the most part, but what have you seen in its wake?
Vlad, we're on Interstate 75 South. We're in the Bradenton area now as we are driving towards the Fort Myers area. Leaving the city of Tampa, we were getting blown around pretty good on the road. Right now we can show you what it looks like. Freeway is clear. Traffic is relatively light. We are seeing more trees down, minor property damage stuff as we move into the Bradenton area. Of course, that we expect that to worsen as we get further south. But so far, we're able to make this drive fairly well. The Tampa area got kind of a glancing blow. They have hundreds of thousands of people without power. We know there are trees down and power lines down, but compared to what fell, say, Fort Myers, Punta Gorda, the Tampa area got very lucky.
So what has it been like over the past 12, 24 hours when you were in the worst of the storm?
The Tampa area got, we had wind gusts into the tropical storm range, 50, 60 mile an hour wind gusts. We were watching transformers explode, power go on and off, a lot of rain. But if you compare that to the utter devastation we're starting to hear about in the Fort Myers area, it really doesn't compare. We knew we were gonna get a strong storm. We got a strong storm in the Tampa area, but considering 72 hours ago, the fear was that Tampa and that major population center was going to be in the bullseye of this monster storm. The storm pivoted. It absolutely rocked the Fort Myers area, and that is hundreds of thousands of people that were in that storm's path who now are going to start picking up the pieces. We're on our way there now.
Yeah, and with regards to that recovery, Chris, we saw in the early hours of the hurricane, now the storm, first responders themselves who were stranded, fire trucks and vehicles unable to move with the dangerous flooding. What are officials saying to you, or what have you learned about that recovery process that you're heading to check out?
Well, certainly it gets easier now that the sun is up. As the winds die down and they're able to put helicopters and drones in the air, they're going to get a better sense of the scope of the damage, whether you're talking about the Tampa area or in the harder hit areas. Part of this will be what level of damage and destruction befell the first responders in those facilities. In the Tampa area, they had to pull the police and fire off the roads around 8 p.m. They were back on the roads around 4:30 in the morning. Up ahead of us, I can see a power truck, power crews, some 27,000 power crews from around 27 states are either in Florida or en route to Florida. They're going to start getting to work, trying to get the lights back on. In areas like Lee County, that's where Fort Myers is, that's going to be a rebuilding effort because the devastation there is going to be substantial. Other areas, like the Tampa area, those lights probably come on a lot faster. And then, of course, there's trying to get to the people that are in need, and that's the kind of response, the emergency response, we're going to be hearing a lot about in the next 24 hours.
I don't know. Well, I did sort of see where you were located initially on that bridge. What was it like just sort of getting out of that area, getting to the highway? Were the roads clear?
Yeah, so we've not run into blocked roads here. We're still 81 miles from Fort Myers. So I expect the drive to get more challenging as we go. Certainly a priority is always to keep major thoroughfares and freeways open. So the first places that would get cleared would be those. But you know, as we next up on the map, it would be the Sarasota area. We know that took a pretty good jolt from this storm, so I would expect that we will see worse conditions. If you guys want to pop up our freeway camera, you can see right in front of us is a bucket truck, a power company bucket truck. They're clearly heading somewhere. You know, airports across this area are doing damage assessments now. We know that the power company, Florida Gas and Light, was renting up every helicopter they could get their hands on today to fly crews into place, because there are going to be some areas where you're not going to be able to drive to. You know, the bucket truck that we're driving with, and I can see it's got power components on board. You know, that can only go so far. If the water is higher than about 5 feet, that vehicle's not going to get there, and it can't.
All right, Akim. Yes, man. That was CBC News. Yeah, going in, giving us some updates. Storm tears through western Florida, causes major flooding, knocks out power to millions in the state. So we got a little gist of what's going on here.
Can't put its bucket up in the air if the winds are gusting over 35 miles an hour. So as the winds die down, they can get to their location, they can start making repairs, and that's going to play out up and down the Gulf Coast of Florida today.
All right, Chris Van Cleve on the road. Thank you so much.
All right, so, and that was around September, late September, 29th of September. We got a bit more here a little bit later on, a couple of days after.
From this deadly hurricane.
And this is from ABC News.
Has become painfully clear tonight. We have just learned this evening that Ian is now a hurricane again, growing stronger, winding up for another devastating blow as it now moves north and right up the east coast. Here in southwest Florida tonight, Ian struck as a Category 4 hurricane, just shy of a Category 5 24 hours ago. And this evening, we have now learned the storm surge was record-breaking and deadly. The flooding not just on the coast, but of course inland too. Tonight, there are urgent rescues underway, and the death toll is climbing. President Biden has warned that there could be a, quote, substantial loss of life right here in Florida. At this hour, Ian is now a hurricane again, a Category 1, 75 miles an hour are the winds, now moving back into the warm Atlantic waters. Forecast to crash back ashore in South Carolina sometime tomorrow. And we have new images tonight of Ian's fury. The eye wall plowing through Placida, Florida, ripping homes to shreds there. The storm surge overpowering this building in Fort Myers Beach, lifting it right off its foundation, washing it away. And tonight, of course, the damage the storm left behind. This Fort Myers Beach community left in splinters. The ground littered with debris. Along the shore, a pile of boats unmoored. And far from the coastline tonight, neighborhoods flooded for miles, one home on fire with no way to fight the flames. And the major damage to infrastructure across the region. The Sanibel Causeway severely damaged.
Well, ain't that what it says in Isaiah 29? They shall be visited with the Lord of hosts, with thunder and with earthquakes and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of fire, man. Man, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. Yeah, with the fires as well, look.
Littered with debris. Along the shore, a pile of boats unmoored. And far from the coastline tonight, neighborhoods flooded for miles, one home on fire with no way to fight the flames. And the major damage to infrastructure across the region.
Fire.
The Sanibel Causeway severely damaged tonight and unusable. Nearly 2 million people still without power in this state tonight. And on the northeast coast of Florida, Ian arriving as a tropical storm.
Yeah, that's a blackout, isn't it? Electrical magnetic impulse, the EMP, which was all prophecy, all been prophesied to happen. It's going to start happening just randomly. This was because of what they call a natural disaster or an nature, which nothing is nature, nothing is coincidence. The Most High brings it all, as we know what it says in let me bring out a precept. Spirits on me, let me bring it out. 1 Samuel 2:6 says, the Lord killeth and maketh alive, he bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor, he maketh rich, he bringeth low and lifteth up. That's the point there. Yeah, the Most High responsible, he killeth.
In St. Augustine, at peak high tide, Orlando getting record rain and flooding, rescues taking place there. And the efforts to rescue families remain underway statewide. In Naples, a car window smashed to free the driver inside. In Tampa, boats ferrying people to safety from their flooded homes. And in Orlando, more than
Yeah, and you Northern tribe also, and all the other tribes, you're going to get caught up with it, man. Yeah, if you don't repent, as you probably know by now. Yeah, listen to the men of the Lord, giving you a far warning via the precepts, via the prophecies. Yeah, all the other tribes, Judah, the tribe of Judah's over there too. Yeah, we know he's over there, the predominantly most racist. A lot of the islands are the most racist islands. What we did look at in the map, the most racist islands, which is there now over there in Florida, Mississippi. He's heading towards I think they said oh, you also got Alabama, you got Mississippi Jackson, South Carolina, Georgia. So it might be heading. That's the state that is near to Florida State, Georgia. It might be heading there now. Who knows? Whatever the Most High he's got, yeah, he's the author, the writer, the script writer of this movie. You understand? And he's got his actors acting, and the prophets he's got there out there trying to warn you guys, trying to preserve you, to help you. All I did, I just tapped in Hurricane Florida, yeah, aftermath, 2022 aftermath, and we're just catching up on some of these updates. See, that looked like a northern tribe there, one of those, you know, so-called northern tribe.
100 residents
being rescued
from a nursing home where sandbags failed to keep the water out. Our team across the storm zone tonight, in fact, the Coast Guard, a Rear Admiral with the Coast Guard, Brendan McPherson, is right here with us tonight on the rescues taking place at this hour. What they're seeing, the conditions inside these homes, what's left of them. But first, what we've seen, the destruction across this state. Tonight, the deadly toll of Hurricane Ian, the massive destruction here in Florida, coming into clearer focus. The deadly storm making history as one of the most powerful hurricanes ever to make landfall here in Southwest Florida. And along with the hurricane, the staggering amount of rain. A once-in-a-thousand-year rainfall, they're calling it here. Bridges destroyed, homes on fire, entire neighborhoods underwater in Fort Myers. The Lee County Sheriff surveying the devastation, capturing these images tonight. The shorelines decimated, plumes of thick black smoke in this neighborhood. The Sanibel Causeway washed away, cutting the island off to the mainland. From the ground, Fort Myers Beach leveled, the pier gone. The catastrophic damage, power lines catching fire, nearly 2 million still without electricity tonight. 20,000 Florida power and light crews racing to restore power here across this state. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
The impacts of this storm are historic, and the damage that was done has been historic.
President Biden in touch with Governor DeSantis again today. The president speaking of the enormous human toll here and the real fear that that toll could rise dramatically. The president at FEMA headquarters today.
This could be the deadliest hurricane in Florida's history. The numbers are still unclear, but we're hearing early reports of what may be substantial loss of life.
Tonight, at least 7 confirmed deaths. Hospitals evacuated amid the floods. Search and rescue teams fanning out. The Nassau County Marine Unit.
Yeah, so they're saying 7 confirmed dead. This was September the 30th. Now we're in October the 3rd, so we're going to catch up with a little bit more, because since then there's been more deaths, but we're going to find out a little bit more on another clip.
Rescuing 2 people on their sailboat overnight, grabbing them and pulling them to safety. Naples Fire and Rescue smashing windows to get to this driver, while other members of the fire department wade through waist-deep water as they unload their fire truck, submerged in the waters here. They have been rescuing families, bringing them back to the fire station. Dozens of large Chinook and Black Hawk helicopters performing rescues. And these images tonight of the U.S. Coast Guard airlifting stranded people from rooftops near Sanibel Island. 1,000 FEMA personnel deployed here, supplying millions of liters of water and meals, and hundreds of generators. Charlotte and Lee counties reporting more than 500 rescues, more than 300 rescued in Orlando. In this neighborhood, local police teaming up with the National Guard. Orange County Fire Rescue racing in with stretchers to rescue seniors at the Avante Assisted Living Facility. Hurricane Ian making landfall as a strong Category 4 hurricane, just shy of a Category 5. The record-breaking storm surge. Whoa. Ripping roofs off homes, sending debris flying. This time-lapse of Fort Myers Beach showing floodwaters taking over the streets. Boats floating away.
There's like 3 boats. There's 4 boats.
4 of them.
4 boats.
We don't know whose cars most of these are.
The family riding out the storm in their grandmother's home, watching from the windows as cars and homes float by.
This is a house from across the street at the beach.
Walking outside, the palm trees bending in the wind.
Somebody's RV came in our backyard. That's our pool. That's our deck. That was my house. My house is gone.
On the ground here, we met Josefa Arsana Munoz, who left home to ride out the storm with family, only to find her home badly damaged today. She said it was terrifying. They could feel the hurricane blowing inside the house. You don't want to go through that again.
Because no water, no food, nothing. My friend called me. We could have this stuff. Yeah.
And terribly frightening. But at least you're okay and the family's okay.
Yeah.
One of the northern tribe here, you know, don't know what one, but yes, Jake is also caught up in it too. No joining hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, man. So yeah, we see a nigger woman earlier, you know, potentially a Judite, but a lot of our people are caught up in this flood too, getting jacked up. Ultimately, they have to repent. We have to repent and turn back to the Lord if you want to escape these prophecies, these judgments.
Yeah. We're glad. And the Logue family, Sam, his 7-year-old son Mason, staying with their pastor because the pastor's home is built of brick. They couldn't get back to their home today because of the floods. Any word on your house?
Yeah, we had all the barns. We had 2 or 3 barns there. They all flew away.
I would have thought they would have learned their lesson. Wouldn't you say that if that's a predominantly storm vulnerable town, Florida, wouldn't you all build your house upon the concrete with brick? I would have thought so, but you know, I don't know. I would have thought so.
Back to their home today because of the floods. Any word on your house? Yeah. We're glad. And the Logue family, Sam, his 7-year-old son Mason, staying with their pastor because the pastor's home is built of brick. They couldn't get back to their home today because of the floods. Any word on your house?
Yeah, we had all the barns. We had 2 or 3 barns there. They all flew away.
In Tampa, powerful wind gusts sending this tree crashing into a home. In St. Augustine, this SUV submerged, the boat behind it rocking in the waves. And that father tonight, grateful they left their home to seek safer shelter, now knowing what so many now face. I'm sure you're feeling pretty blessed you were here.
For sure, yeah. Yep, God kept us safe. I know a lot of people weren't so fortunate.
That decision to stay with their pastor instead made all the difference.
Okay. Men ain't going to be able to save you in the judgment day of the Lord. Yeah? This is what you call a hurricane on biblical proportions. That's what they're naming it. So that was ABC News. They say seven deaths so far. That was September the 30th. We've got another clip here. Like I say, we're just catching up. This is more ABC News.
Coastal Southwest Florida decimated. Ferocious Hurricane Ian shredding parts of the peninsula. The Category 4 storm making history as one of the most powerful hurricanes to ever make landfall in the Sunshine State.
Yeah, so you heard it. Most powerful hurricane in so-called Sunshine State. Right now, it's full of flood, it's full of water.
It's going to rank as one of the top 5 hurricanes to ever hit the Florida Peninsula.
Ian slicing onto the coast Wednesday afternoon on the Barrier Islands near Fort Myers. We were right there. More than 2 million customers throughout the state losing power.
That's my grandparents' house.
In Fort Myers Beach, many waking up to find they've lost almost everything.
We're accessing the bridges. We're seeing what's compromised and what's not. And this will be a life-changing event for the men and women that are responding.
That was my house.
Yeah, I want to call this video something along them lines. Life-changing prophecies taking effect. Something along them lines. Whatever the Spirit says to title it, I'll title it that. Life changes, prophecy taking effect. Prophecies, life-changing taking effect. Something along them lines.
My house is gone.
Bridges, we're seeing what's compromised and what's not. And this will be a life-changing event for the men and women that are responding.
That was my house.
Life-changing.
My house is gone.
This neighborhood turning into an extension of the Gulf. WINK-TV in Fort Myers forced off the air after water submerged their newsroom. Water seeping into the first floor of this hospital in Port Charlotte. And in Tampa, powerful winds sending this tree into a home. The hurricane also one of the top 10 to make landfall in the U.S., roaring ashore near Kio Costa, carrying 150-mile-per-hour winds. About an hour later, making landfall a second time onto Florida's mainland south of Punta Gorda. As the winds shifted, we were right there in Ian's eye wall, the storm surge showing its power.
Well, the storm surge is flexing. We're about an hour into being in this eye wall. The storm is moving north of us, but we see these winds, and that little house that we were talking about all day has gone. Succumbed to the storm surge. Now the blue roof is all that's left floating in the water toward the building.
Up in the air, hurricane hunters flying inside Ian to gather more critical data, shaken by the extreme turbulence.
There goes the fence. Holy cow.
One of them describing it as the roughest flight of his entire career. Ian isn't done yet. As Southwest Florida picks up the pieces, the danger is far from over. That storm heading north with tropical storm force winds and inundating rains.
And Ginger Z joins me live now on the phone from Fort Myers. Ginger, it was incredible to see some of the images you were putting out as this storm came in, the before and after. We saw that dock disappear, the house disappear, the pool where you were being covered. What are you seeing there now?
Now it's the aftermath. All of the surge after about 7 hours of being in that eye wall started to recede, and everything that water moved is now displaced. It's everywhere. This hotel we're in is wrecked. I mean, it's standing. We were safe, but there's so much water, so much glass broke. I'm looking down in one of the areas, actually where I did Good Morning America yesterday, where I was standing. There is a sea-doo that is blasted into the side of the wall. There are huge mechanical, maybe air conditioners or something that had come from the top, because we had winds, of 110 to 130 miles per hour for 6 hours. It was unreal. And a lot of times when you have a storm like this, that's both the wind and the surge, you look around and you can't tell what damage is from which. I'm looking out at the trees now, and they are shredded. There's not a leaf in sight. Some of the palms made it, some of them did not. But this is, again, we were in a fortress of a building. We were safe, but coming out here and anyone who tried to be anywhere on a ground level under 12 feet could not survive this. Many vehicles, a lot of the news crews here lost their vehicles.
Tropical storm on the move after making landfall in Florida, right, as Category 4 hurricane. She said she was in a fortress of a building, so she was safe. A fortress of a building. But you know what? Hebrews chapters 10 and 34 says, 31, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. If he wanted to destroy that fortress, as you call it, that fortress building, he could have done. So you escape for now, but there's nothing's guaranteed when it comes to the Most High's fierce judgments when he unleashes it. Here's a precept, Deuteronomy 32:35 says, To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall side in due time. Yeah. In due time, the Most High will get you, man. Don't matter where you are. If he wants you, yeah, whether you're in a fortress of a building, whether you're under the ground in one of your bunkers, your luxury bunkers, if he wants to get you, if you're on the hit list, he gonna find you. He gonna get you, just like the Predator. Yeah, he'll find you, because he can't be bargained with. He can't be reasoned with. He doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. and will not stop. Yeah, ultimately, Jeremiah 16:16 says he's going to send forth his fishermen. That's the prophets when it's time. He's going to give us spiritual power. He's going to give us navigation to find you wherever you may be, under the ground, up in the heavens, in your space equipment or in your space stations, under the water stations, wherever you may be. Yeah, the predator is going to find you, the spiritual predators. Yeah, because to me belong vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand. Right, not quite, it's just a little taster right now. At hand, and the things that shall come upon them, right, the Most High will make haste. He says, will make haste upon them, make haste. See now that I even, this is in Deuteronomy 32 and now in 39. He, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, I heal, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Yeah, just to back up what we're saying through the power and spirit of the Rakah Kodash, the spirit. Yeah, so this is prophecy. Yeah, I'm going to entitle this video Life-Changing Prophecies Taking Effect. Life-changing prophecies, as what the man said. This is life-changing. Yeah, what people are feeling right now, the effects of the Hurricane Ian is life-changing, which is prophecy. So life-changing prophecy taking effect right here before us.
You know, they were washing away in the water, because that type of water, 12 feet of water, can push homes off their foundation. I've seen it before. I watched it happen yesterday, and it is so unfortunate that so many people in Southwest Florida had to learn the lesson that how powerful that surge can be. And I know you're seeing the drone video. This is the other issue. The road out of here, covered in sand, silt, debris, trees. It's going to be really hard for not only people to get out, but for people to get in. So for those who have not yet gotten rescue, and I'm coming to you on an old school flip phone that we use for communication back to you all in New York, no matter where we are. Most people's phones are not working at all. I have one of the only operating phones around, and we're going to be passing it to all these people because they want to make sure their families know they're safe. The communication is going to be a big issue. The rescue is going to be a big issue, and then the cleanup. And as the catastrophic warnings warned, and I was talking about this yesterday, and you hate to see it verify, we will not see power, and this could be uninhabitable for weeks or months.
Yeah, we keep seeing that video of all the destruction, but the one that strikes me the most.
Yeah, because I heard the term, this is a war zone. After Hurricane Ian passed through, the term was, I've heard, I can coin that phrase too, something along them lines, the title of this video, but I think the first one is more catchy. But I've heard the term, this is a war zone after Hurricane has passed through, Hurricane Ian has passed through, a war zone.
To see it verified, we will not see power, and this could be uninhabitable for weeks or months.
Yeah,
uninhabitable for weeks or months. A war zone, that's what a war zone does. It levels the ground, it levels everything to the ground. So that sounds like a war zone to me, man. You know, uninhabitable.
The rescue is going to be a big issue, and then the cleanup. And as the catastrophic warnings warned, and I was talking about this yesterday, and you hate to see it verify, we will not see power, and this could be uninhabitable for weeks or months.
Yeah, we keep seeing that video of all the destruction, but the one that strikes me the most is you can see a house floating in the water. You just see the top, just the roof of the house.
Yeah.
I mean, terrifying to think of the water and the wind being that powerful. So, Ginger, what's the biggest concern now?
Yeah, so the concern now is, you know, people often say, oh, it was downgraded, and it was. It's a tropical storm. So as it moves northeast, the problem with this one is you still will have 16 inches of rain. So after storm surge, which is the #1 killer, flash flooding is the second most killer. And that's something that people are going to be dealing with through central and northeast Florida into South Carolina, because it's going to recurve, come back at you, and they're going to have surge in Charleston and Savannah, at least the possibility of 3 to 5 feet. So 3 to 5 feet is nothing to sneeze at, but it's not 12 to, I anticipate we'll see numbers upwards of 15. And just to give you some perspective, in the last, modern history, like Naples, their surge reports go back to...
Hold on, let me see if I'll hear that again. I think I missed that.
Nothing to sneeze at, but it's not 12 to, I anticipate we'll see numbers going to be dealing with through central and northeast Florida into South Carolina, because it's going to recurve, come back at you, and they're going to have surge in Charleston and Savannah, at least the possibility of 3 to 5 feet. So 3 to 5 feet is nothing to sneeze at, but it's not 12 to, I anticipate we'll see numbers upwards of 15. And just to give you some perspective, in
15 feet of water. That's swimming. That's you can swim in that. That's swimming. You'll be able to swim in that 15 feet right there, wherever it may be.
in the last, modern history, like Naples, their surge reports go back to the 1950s, late 50s, early 60s. They had a record surge by far. Like, they smashed their record. A lot of these beaches and these towns had not seen water like this since most of our generation has been around. And I think that that also is remarkable. And once the numbers get verified, I think we'll see much more history made by Ian.
Yeah, we often think of Florida being prepared for storms, but it seems this was a storm no one could prepare for. Ginger Z, we appreciate it as always. Stay safe, friend. Thank you.
All right. Yes, we've got one more clip, last clip. Yeah, and brother put on the chat too. An actual, looked like a wealthy, must have been a big house, but an Edomite man swimming in his house. He was swimming in his house. The water was that high. He was swimming. So it probably might have been a mansion or some kind of big house, but whatever it was, the man was swimming in his house. So 15 foot of water, you can swim in that very, very easily. So, and another brother in our camp said he received someone he knows over there in Florida, somewhere in America, one of the states where hurricane is hitting now, right, where it's devastating. On Instagram, someone he knows sent him a video going through the water, and showing all the devastation and all the junk, and everything was flooded, and the damage, the aftermath of the hurricane. So people know people see what's going on, people are aware, and no doubt they would have got flashbacks from what the prophets have been telling them from the time we was talking about what is about to hit the earth. But this is not even the main event yet. This is not the grand finale yet. This is just your little appetizers, your little tasters for the time being, until the Most High turns up. Yeah, this was the year of turn up, and it did turn up, but he ain't put the lid on it yet. He ain't brought the grand finale yet. Like I say, this is just a taster. We got one more clip to check out, right? See if we can catch up a little bit more on the death toll. On one of the videos I said it was 7, but it's much more than that since then. Let's check out this one here. This is the 10 Tampa Bay News channel, right? Another one of those internet channels.
For 10 Tampa Bay this weekend, I'm Courtney Robinson. Tonight, the state just 2 hours ago confirmed 44 deaths related to Hurricane Ian. 30 of those people died in Lee County alone.
Yeah, so this is the latest update since the other videos we looked at. This was yesterday, yeah? Tampa Bay News, October the 2nd. We're now in October the 3rd, so this is the latest. What is that? 44 is a number, as we know. 44 deaths. Is that what she said? Did she say, how many deaths did she say? Let's just check that again.
Robinson. Tonight, the state just 2 hours ago confirmed 44 deaths related to Hurricane Ian.
Yeah, that's that number. That in this case is an infamous number, but it's actually a very good number. But 44 deaths at the moment, and it's probably it's probably still escalating. More deaths are still on their way. Like I say, it's only in Florida. We looked at the map. Let's get back to the map, because we're getting into our maps. So a little bit of where we were. Right, we were traded in these places: Missouri, Mississippi, Jackson. Oh, Mississippi, Jackson is where they got the water issue at the moment. A whole heap of polluted water, and they're saying you can't drink the water, but some say you can. The governor say you can, but people who know better, they won't trust the governor. Mississippi, Jackson, right? And these are the places where they had us, and they trafficked us, and we was being lynched left, right, and center. Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina. Yeah, all these places where there was alligator bait, right? And they've probably still got leftovers of pickle jars of men's private parts and postcards where they used to lynch us. So Virginia, where they used to pass around their postcards. And you know, a lot of these houses, through the spirit now, I'm just talking, a lot of these houses, they're probably getting drowned out, and all their, what they call their sentimental things like pickle jars of men's private parts, right, in their safes, and postcards with men being their arms cut off and legs cut off and all kinds of atrocities. Postcards are getting drowned out and messed up and flooded and destroyed because you kept them in your yard. There was a curse unto you. See how the Most High works? Galatians, man, Galatians 6 and 7. Whatsoever man soweth, that he shall also reap. Right? And we're waiting for the other places to be hit now. Florida's been hit, right? We're waiting for some more. Texas need to get hit. Oklahoma need to get hit with Hurricane Ian or another infamous hurricane gonna come and do more. Yeah? Wa Ashim, Shalak Rayam, Al Kal Wayabinawat. Send fire to all my enemies. Kala Yehovah Hashem Yahushai. Babakusha, Babakusha, Babakusha. Wa Ragma. Wa sending more destruction. Wa Mashapatyam, judgments. Wa Ashim, yeah, destruction. Shalak Rayam, send evil upon them. To all these times, these evil times where they had us, yeah, my ancestors, my forefathers, right? A lot of the kings also of the northern tribes and the southern tribes, you know what I'm saying? The 12 tribes, they had us in slavery. South Dakota, all these places. Nebraska, right? So yeah, man. Wa Ashim Al Kal Wayabinawa, Shalak Rayam, to all these places, these towns, these states in America. Babakusha, 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 and we don't let up. We don't let up. Just like we don't let up prophesying judgment on them, we don't let up sending curses on them, because they don't let up doing the wickedness they did to us. What they did to us, they still hasn't let up. So Wa Ashim, Babakusha, Al Kal Wayabinawa, send more in the name of Yahweh Shemashah. More fire, more judgments, more water, more hurricanes. Babakusha, 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 Babakusha. Al Kal Wayabinawa, Babakusha, Babakusha. Wa Ashim, Babakusha, Babakusha. The Wad I fear my prayer, the Wab, Damyah, the Wab Aman. Let's get back to the video to end it off now, and then we're going to hit some precepts. 44 deaths. I might have some wine tonight, Akim. Yeah, Lord willing, I'll do another video later on anyway. Through the spirit, the spirit's on me. I'm going to do a after hours video later, because I think I'm in a good mood now. Do my after hour video later on through the spirit.
Tonight, the state just 2 hours ago confirmed 44 deaths related to Hurricane Ian. 30 of those people died in Lee County alone. In 10 Tampa Bay, 3 storm-related deaths happened in Sarasota. 1 person died in Manatee County. Now tonight, people in Fort Myers and Sanibel, some of the hardest hit areas, are trying to survive the conditions Ian left behind. I mean, just look at these new aerials on your screen just into our station. There are houses level, of course, you know, roads, the causeway right here for Sanibel washed away, and popular vacation spots in shambles.
I've lost everything. Everything, my life savings, everything, my tools, everything.
Search and rescue crews saved 1,600 people and 75 pets as of just last night. That's according to FEMA. And help is on the way from Tampa Bay. Just hours ago, take a look. The Pinellas County Sheriff's Office sent a team to Southwest Florida. You can see that convoy loaded up. They had fuel, generators, waters, washers and dryers, and so much more. This morning, 40 Tampa police officers and 15 firefighters also took off. They are in Northport tonight. And in
all right, Akim. So there you have it, man. Yeah, life-changing prophecies in effect. That's what I'm going to title this video. Life-changing prophecies in effect. Yeah, not in full effect, because the Most High hasn't turned it out fully yet, but they're in effect. not in full effect, not yet. Life-changing prophecies in effect. Let me hit one more precept, then I'm going to end it off, Akim. As a matter of fact, I'll read this one again. Deuteronomy 32:35 says, "To me belongeth vengeance and recompense, their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste." So he's definitely making haste. He's turning up. This is the year of turn up, and the Most High is making haste. He's turning up. That was Deuteronomy 32:35. Now jump down to 39. "See now that even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, I heal, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand." So far they say there's 44, that number 44 deaths at the moment, and it's the Most High that did it, right? If you want to find trying to get any kind of culprit, take it up with the Most High. You understand? Yeah? And there is none that can deliver out of my hand, right? So if you're on the hit list, you can't run, you can't hide. Or you can run, but you can't hide. In some cases, he won't even let you run. Yeah, this is all of the Most High. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. Yeah, neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. The Most High got them. Whatever they've been doing in this life or in their previous lives, they was on the hit list. He got them. We're going to end with this one, Akim. All praises to Yahweh Hashem and Shah to give me the spirit to do this video. This is in Habakkuk chapters 2, and we can go to 12. It says, "Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity." Ooh. Now, I must say it right now, that was very appropriate. Most High gave me that through the Spirit, very appropriate. Yeah, all these towns, how were they built? Right? On the necks and the blood of the so-called Negroes, Native American Indians, and the so-called Latinos. These states over there in America, I'll read some of them again. You see the blue state there, that's Florida. The red one there, if you can't see it if it's not close enough on the camera, I'm just going to quote it to you. The red state there, Atlanta, Georgia. That one there, the pink looking one there, is South Carolina. The yellow looking one there is North Carolina. The light yellow there, Virginia. Tennessee, Alabama. The green looking one there, Mississippi Jackson. That's an infamous name. That there's a lot of documentaries on what they used to do to Jake in that town there. Infamous racist things used to go on there. People were tortured over in that place there, Mississippi. There's a woman, her name was Delphine Delores, right? Around 18th century, early 18th century. She used to torture. She used to get Jake, dismember their bodies, cut them apart and put them back together, looking so decrepit like crabs, and put legs in different places and all kinds of infamous things. Yeah, Delphine Delores. Look her up. Madame Delphine Delores. She had a pub in Mississippi, and she used to take Jakes there, children of Jakes, and do all kinds of infamous experiments on them. Madame Delphine Delores, right? Early 18th centuries, around 1830s, around them time there in Mississippi. People used to be frightened of that place, man. Even it's got a very bad reputation. So these are the towns that were built, yeah, on blood. Oklahoma, Kansas, right? I could go on. South Dakota, Texas. I'll read it again, right? These are a lot of these towns, and there's other towns over here too, and all around the world. In Canada too, they're digging up these graves, which were not really graves. They were just wasteland, where they buried a lot of the Gadites and all the so-called Native American Indians, put them in boarding schools, residential school, and stripped them of their history, of their heritage, their Gadite heritage, yeah, named Reuben or Gad. You understand what I'm saying? Call them all other kinds of names. Stripped them and made them took away their attire, right, their natural attire, their so-called Indian attire, and put them in ties and suits, the English garb. So they tried to brainwash them. In some cases, they also gave them blankets tuberculosis and smallpox diseases. Yeah, they tricked them. Yeah, they came in the form of peace, but their heart was full of lies. That's in Psalms 55. Yeah, but they came speaking like sweet like butter, but war was in their heart, and broke around 600 treaties roundabout. So these are the times we're looking at now, man. Yeah, getting into our maps, getting a bit more into our history. Habakkuk 2:12, I read it again. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity. Why? Because and the Most High has ways of repaying you. He can send hurricanes to you. He can send fires. He can send tornadoes. Yeah, he can send ultimate things, unlimited things. Jump down to 6. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto them, unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Yeah, just like we just had that infamous wicked witch of the north, east, south, and west. Shameful spewing is on their glory, their monarchy, and the way that they're dying, they can die horrifically. And the Most High's got many ways to skin a cat. You understand what I'm saying? So this is their judgment. This is the portion of a wicked man. Most High's hitting them up. He's hitting them up with judgments, right? And they're describing this Hurricane Ian wreaks catastrophic damage, causes catastrophic damage, and there you can see they're calling that's like a war zone, a wasteland. He can do that. Yeah, let's hit off one more precept just to end it off. Yeah, because the earth will be filled with dead bodies. This is just a taste of what's to come. This is just a taster, a little appetizer. Isaiah 29. I start with it. I'm going to end with it. And 5 now. Moreover, the multitude of thy strangers shall be like small dust. Right. This is just an appetizer of what's to come. This ain't the main event. This ain't the grand finale. And the multitude of the terrible one shall be as chaff that passeth away. Yeah, it shall be at an instant, suddenly. Right, here's the kicker. 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. Yeah, with earthquake, with great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. In this case, it was what they're calling Hurricane Ian. So we just had the prophecies, yeah, via Hurricane Ian, what they're calling it. The prophecies are making life-changing. The prophecies, life-changing event are hitting them up now. All praises to Yahweh Hashem Yeshua for giving me the spirit to do this video. Give double honors to all the elders and your prophets and your apostles of Great Millstone, and the house of David is rising. And the wicked, everything the wicked have done to us, past, present, and future, is falling upon their own head.